Hi and welcome to the 64 doors. Today we're going to open door 17. We call this archetype the discoverer. It's driven by curiosity, ideas, and logic. This archetype has the ability to see all the moving and working parts of any structure and to detect the flaws that need to be corrected in order to find new solutions and better solutions. It's also an archetype that projects its mind into the future in order to enhance the life on this planet. The discoverer is also a good debater and a good diplomat. It likes to take in all the different viewpoints and to have a good, fair debate about something. It's not afraid to be questioned or criticized. It feels like the more we can see, the more far-sighted we can be, the more we're going to come closer to the truth. We can also say that this archetype is fair and balanced, and it's really because it doesn't need to attach to just one viewpoint and to be opinionated and narrow around that, but it can keep that playfulness and that openness of new ideas, and to be heart-centered is more important for this archetype than being right. So what I want to do is I want to go through some of the different frameworks that we use in order to understand this energy. So Gene Keys, Human Design, I Ching, and I want us to understand how this archetype can show up in your life if you have it in your chart, and how it shows up for us in the transits where we are right now. So we're going to start with Human Design and see how does it look when we are in the transit. Right now we have the Sun in gate 17 in Aries and the Earth in gate 18 in Libra. And the design part of the cross is 58 and 52. That 17, we see it comes down here from the Ajna center, and it's going to meet the 62 in the throat center. This cross, it's called the cross of service. And it's built up by these four energies that in human design are called opinions, correction, aliveness, and inaction. So the cross is saying, your cross brings four logical energies together. The lead energy is opinion. So that's the first one. With opinion energy, there is a great drive to correct, organize things so you can live a healthy, longer, and more joyful life. You can see that's when the two gates of stillness and vitality come in. You serve people through the logical energies of guidance, organization, and correction. There may be a drive to feel as if you were a healer, but it's important to understand that you're here to guide each person, that they must take their own steps to truly heal. So it's really this thing, it's a collective energy that you are, what we were saying before, it's wanting to enhance life, and it's a collective, it's in the collective circuitry, so it's seeing those solutions and it's bringing them out in the collective so that each person can find their own solutions. So it's not the same energy as last week with the 25 and the 46 that basically can just put their hands on somebody and then they're healed by spirit. Here it's much more coming up with solutions and sharing them with the world, and then we have that enhancement that we were looking at. We can also look at this gate in the Circuitry book, and we are going to see that, you know, people who form opinions by projecting their minds into the future in order to be of service. There we have that enhancement again. I feel it's interesting to look at it in the body graph and how it moves. So a couple of weeks ago, we were in the energy of the detective, that archetype, the 63. So it says the 17 takes the answer to the doubt from the 63-4 and forms an opinion from it. And it also needs that 62 to provide it with detail, to not only just see the broad picture, but to really also go down to the precision of the detail. So the detective finds the truth, and together with the 4 that provides part of the understanding of like, what is that truth? And then in 17 forms an opinion about it, forms like a solution from it, and it needs that 62 in order to have all the detail. And when we look at that process, In the body graph, we can see 63-4, hidden ajna, and then it continues, that logical process continues down in that 1762 and can also be expressed to the world through the throat. That's how that thinking process leads out to being expressed. And it's also interesting to see that we have that logical up in the head on this side, and then it comes down to the right side. So it's the same thing if your brain is damaged on the right side, you're going to have problems on the left side of your body. So you can see the logical process comes from this side and goes down to this side. And the same thing, then we have the abstract, it starts here and goes down to the other side. That's just a little, like how smart the body graph actually is. And the whole channel is called the channel of acceptance, the design of organizational being. So then we have the farsightedness of that 17 together with the precision and the detail of that 62. So together they can really organize everything and find all the solutions and put things in place. And of course, in the lower frequency, we would go down to the opinion and the intellect and being narrow, but that's absolutely not what this archetype is about. Internal motivators, curiosity, opinions that can be tested, finding patterns that lead to solutions, creating a better future. So all this is what we spoke about already. And then the Achilles heel can be anxiety over detail, because it doesn't have that 62 in itself that comes with the detail, and time distortion, because this archetype is focused on image and the visual. So time does not really apply to that realm somehow. It's interesting, you can read more about that. And then the positive attributes, intelligence, farsightedness, ingenuity, and logic. We can also look at the victim patterns. So victim opinion, so this is the shadow patterns in the gene keys. So of course, when we speak about the archetype, we really bring forth that positive energy of this archetype. But in the gene keys, we look at the shadow patterns and we say that these are a door into the higher frequency. So that would be the victim of opinion, to actually attach yourself to a certain more narrow view of things. Repressive nature, self-critical; reactive nature, opinionated; and the dilemma of politics. So being a good debater, being a diplomat, almost getting stuck in those ways of debating, or those ways of seeing black or white, for example. So let's see. Now I wanted us to go into the living library. So the 17, we have the frequency band is opinion, farsightedness, and omniscience. And that goes together with the programming partner that is on the other side of the wheel. And we have judgment, integrity, and perfection. Programming partners, right? So we can see how opinion, judgment is something that we often, even as humanity, I would say, fall into. We have the codon ring of humanity. That's what we were looking at last week, and we said that a lot of the coming transits that are here are going to be these ones, and they are telling us the story of humanity. Let's actually just maybe go into it one more time to make it, if not everybody was looking last week. So wounded from the outset, 25. You must battle with your shadows, 38. Overcome the limitations of your mind, 17. Surrender your need to control life, 21. And find your true self, 10. Before you can awaken, 51. So you can really see how they are going together. And it's a ring of humanity. That's the journey that we all are here to do, basically, in different ways. And we can also look at the integral human design through here. And dismemberment, that's when you have the opinion and the intellect together, and that's when you're desiccating things, you're breaking things apart in smaller pieces so you can't see the whole. So that's what it's doing. And it's basically, if you think about big organizations where everybody does their own little thing, but there's no big picture for everybody, it's like desiccated into different pieces. And then organization is the higher frequency, and holism is the very acidic frequency, right? So from dissatisfaction to service to truth. And we can also look at astrology. It's the Aries energy, pioneer, warrior, adventurer. We are here in the astrological new year. It's about independence, purpose. The I Ching is helping us to see that the insight is visible when the waters of the mind are still. So that's very important to see. We have that still lake on top of the thunder. So there is the drive, there is the curiosity, there is the, well, like the Aries energy somehow. And then we also have the stillness. We have that lake that is important. Otherwise, the mind can just go crazy with ideas. So is there anything else? Let's see if there is anything else. Lake over thunder and pituitary gland. So you can also see that if we look at the spectrum again, we can say that opinion is the same thing as the closing of the third eye. So really knowing that we want to remain open, we want to use that third eye, the pituitary gland, to open up more of what's possible. And also the gift frequency is the recognition via the heart. So it's that humor, heart openness that we have. And then the highest frequency, it's that bird that is seeing everything, the creator, the God frequency. This is a really good week to look at our opinions and to see where are they enhancing our life and where are they narrowing down our life experience. For example, in relationships, are you somebody who's stubborn, who is fixed, and does that create conflict with your partner, with your family members? Can you maybe this week take the opposite viewpoint and look for all the reasons why that might be the truth? And maybe then you can find a view in a way that is more diplomatic, that is going to create more peace around you. It's also a good week to look at where have you taken a stand for something. Is there somewhere where you have even become a spokesperson and where it's good to have that kind of, that view of integrity and that voice of integrity, and that can be inspiring, that can be of service for the world. And maybe if you haven't, is there anywhere where you would like to do that, to choose one of the areas where that could be done? It's also a week where curiosity should be invited in, because the 17 is all about possibilities, and it's projecting its mind into the future, and it's seeing what's coming, what's possible. If you look at if you zoom out and look at all the different things that are there, all the working parts, like we were saying in the beginning. So can you zoom out in many areas of your life and see and be curious about what could be the next step, what could come in? I would also say that a really good way of looking at this week is to use the cross of service. So the allies that you have this week is that 58 and that 52, the vitality and the stillness. So a good week to invite those two in, because that is when you are going to be able to step into that 17 of possibilities of farsightedness, and also the integrity and the perfection of the 18, so that you can correct things, of course, correct things where you might want to come into bigger possibilities and more integrity. So I wish you all a really good week with this cross of service and enhancing your life experience in all possible ways. Thank you.